Hello, if you think that selling on Etsy is the only way to sell your handmade art and craft, then I'm here to tell you why that's wrong and why I don't sell on Etsy and haven't done so for many years. If we've not met before, my name is Sarah. This channel is a place where I share tips and strategies to help you grow and build a profitable handmade business and a life that you love. And also a place where I go behind the scenes a little bit on my own handmade business as a jewellery designer maker. Often our creative passions start as something that we do in our spare time, and then there comes a point where maybe you want to start making some money from your work. Maybe you want to shift from doing a 9 to 5 that you've been doing for many years, and you want to take a step back from that and start doing something that brings you joy. And so maybe building your creative passion, actually putting more time into your creativity, your art and craft is something that you really want to do. And you also want to make some money from it. Or maybe you're selling at craft shows and fairs and markets, and you want to take a step back from that a bit and you want to get your weekends back. And so selling online is the next step for you, and selling online is something that you want to embrace. So I'm here to give you insights and tips and strategies from my own experiences as a jewellery designer maker and a business owner, and to help you grow a craft and art business, and in particular to grow it online. I think the majority of makers, when you first start looking at selling your work, go to Etsy, head towards Etsy, because that's what everyone talks about, that's what's well known. After selling to friends and family, when I first ventured into selling online, I went to Etsy. And there was that excitement of selling my first pieces to people that I hadn't known before, all over the place. So that was a real buzz. But I want to share with you why I no longer sell on Etsy, and I haven't done for many years, and what the drawbacks are, and why I really encourage you, and I think it's essential actually, if you're wanting to sell your work online, to have your own website. And also to tell you that having your own website and developing it, whether you build it yourself or you use a web designer, is not as daunting as it may first seem. And so I want to kind of talk a little bit about that as well. As I said, I did start selling my first pieces when I ventured into selling online on Etsy, and I had my Etsy shop and I sold through there. And it is a great way for testing the market and just dipping your toe into selling online. However, it's not the place to be building your business. If you want to grow your business and let it build into the future, then you really need your own space, and having your own website is a place where you can do that. One of the other things that I don't like about Etsy, and some of the other marketplaces as well, is you are one of many. Yes, there's a big audience, but you are with thousands and thousands of other sellers. There is no consistency of images, of image quality. It's very much like a jumble sale of product, even if the items you search for are similar. More and more now, we see that Etsy isn't just for handmade makers. There's all sorts of products on there. So it's very difficult to really stand out. It's very difficult to share your branding, your unique style. And that's one of the reasons why I really don't think it's where you should be building your business and where you should be putting your effort into. I've also heard many horror stories more recently about sellers' payments being withheld or held back, and putting blocks on sellers receiving their profits. There's also increasing fees on Etsy. They change all the time. Etsy can shut your shop down in an instant, and I've heard lots of really random reasons why they have done this in the past to people, and so there's no stability there. So yes, try it out, test it for when you're just starting, just get a feel for selling online, get a feel for the processes, but don't rely on it. Don't build your business there. Another reason why I think Etsy Etsy isn't the place to build a business is you can't connect to your customers there. There is no way when a customer buys from you that you can then keep in touch with them and let them know other things that are happening in your business, other work that you're making. You can't contact them outside of Etsy, which you really need to be doing as you grow your business. As you grow, you want to be collecting those emails of your customers and potential customers. You want to be able to communicate with them. You want to be able to contact them when you have a promotion happening, and really build that relationship with them. And that's something that you can't do through Etsy. On your own website, you have the ability to put your branding, your message, your storytelling forward and to really connect with your ideal customer. And that's so important if you want your business to grow into the future. So there's several ways you can go about putting together your own website. You can get a web designer to do this for you. You can work with a branding agency and a web designer, and they can come up with and they can put together your website. This is going to be the most costly way to do it. And you're still going to have to put in a lot of work to pass on to the web designers. But there are other ways you can do it yourself. Shopify and Squarespace are the two platforms that I've used in the past, and I would recommend, neither of which is sponsoring this video, but they are ones that I've used and they're very straightforward to use and they work really well. The back end is really intuitive. It's relatively easy to build a site yourself if that's what you want to do. Now, choosing between the two different platforms really depends on how you want to go about selling your work. Shopify is very much set up for selling lots of products. It's the best platform for an online shop where you're going to be selling products, as everything is intuitive, everything in the back end is intuitive to make it as easy a process as possible. All the information that any customer visiting your site is going to need will be there, and it will make sure that you've got all of that in place, and it deals very easily with the payment side of things. The other option is Squarespace, and the reason I also recommend Squarespace is because it works, although it's not designed as an online storefront, an online shop, it works really well if you are selling bespoke work. If you want to talk about your work as a creative, as an artist, with the view to taking on commissions or getting your work into galleries. And so having that storefront, that shop window into your world is something that Squarespace does really well. It's also the best place if you want to sell things like weekend workshop courses or events. Squarespace does really well for that. And if you've got a small number of products, you can sell a small number of products on there, but it's obviously not geared up to be an online store in the same way that Shopify is. I will do other videos in the future about both of these platforms so you can get a better feel for them both and work out which one is best for you. If you've been getting value out of this video so far, please do hit subscribe so that you can see other videos from me in the future. When you're starting to sell online, no matter what platform you go for, and even if you do put your foot into Etsy briefly, and I say briefly because I really want you to think about having your own website, because it's so much more valuable than building a business on a platform which could change its policies at any time. You're in amongst thousands of others. There's no consistency of branding or imagery. You can't really connect with your customers, and that's what you need to be able to build a business. So there are a few things that you need to have nailed down, or at least have a relatively good idea of, in order to set up your website. You need to have great photography, and you don't need to have expensive equipment to have great photography. You can do it very easily on a smartphone these days. If you do have a DSLR camera, you can easily do it on there. You can pay a photographer to do this. You can pay a branding photographer to help you with your brand photography. You also want to have images of yourself as the maker so that your audience, so that your customers can see you and see who is making the work that they're going to buy, and it adds to that connection. So you need great photography. Number one, you need to have copy and words for your homepage as well as your about page, so that again your customers can start connecting to you and really start to trust you. You also need all your product pages written, so all your product descriptions, and have calculated all the prices as well. There's some other pages as well that are essential, such as returns and deliveries, your policies, your terms. So there are many things that you can start getting together in the early stages, so when you're ready to build your website, you have all of that information to hand. And if you outsource it to a web designer, then you will need that information to give to them as well. So that's stuff you can start working on. Now, in the Handmade Business Academy, which I run, we go through all of that there's a whole module on setting up your website, but we also go through branding, product photography, and the continual development of your business as well, so it continues to thrive into the future. And if you're interested in building and growing your business, then do check out the Handmade Business Academy. You can find a link to that in the description to this video. So what happens when you have your own website is you get a new visitor, you get somebody coming and to your page. Now, whether they may have come through social media, maybe somebody that you've spoken to at an event or a show. It may be a mention that's been featured in the press. Somebody comes to your website to see your work. And when they're there, there's going to be a place where you're going to capture their email. Now, this could be a sign-up form so they get a discount, or they get a regular newsletter from you so they can keep in touch with you. And when they buy from you, you get their email then as well, so that you can keep in touch with them on that through that as well. So now you have a way to keep in touch with your audience, with your customers, people who are starting to love your work and love what you do, and they want to hear more about you. So you're going to email them and keep in touch with them, tell them about promotions, tell them about your inspirations and what's happening with your work and your collections as you go through the year. And every time you have a promotion, you can send it out to them. And they will come back to your website next time they see you. And they don't do that on Etsy. It's very difficult months down the line for somebody to remember who they bought a product from, who they bought an item from, and to find that person again on Etsy. So with your own website, and you have this continual communication with your customers, it snowballs. They'll come back to your site, they'll buy again from you, or they'll browse again from you, and gradually they'll tell more people, and more people will come to you and to your site, and your business will grow. And so that's why it's so important to have your own website. So no matter what that first touch point is, whether it's social media, in the press, on a podcast, in conversation with somebody, no matter what it is, you're always directing them back to your site and back to building this relationship with you. So to summarise, and my thoughts on Etsy, whilst it is a very good marketplace for dipping your toe into the water and starting to sell your work, please don't build your business on it. Please don't rely on it for the growth of your business, because you won't be able to grow it the way you want to. You won't be able to really talk to your customers and show them who you are as a maker, and build that connection and that relationship that is going to mean that your business is going to flourish. It is so important to develop your online space, to have your own independent website. No matter how complex or how simple your website ends up being, it's a place where you can really talk directly to your customers, where you can really build a relationship and longevity for your business. Having that online space that represents you and your work and your brand is the best shop window to the world there is. And it's so rewarding to see your work as a whole and your business as a whole, rather than just little pictures on another marketplace. Seeing your business and your brand and your work as a collection of work is so much more meaningful than just a little thumbnail on another person's site. So that's it for today. If you're in the early stages of your craft and art business, then do check out this video next. And that's it for today, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.